The first week of Tennessee Titans 2025 training camp is in the books. How has Cam Ward looked? We're going to talk about his overall performance this week. Femi Oladejo is making plays. Do the Titans have a solution at edge rusher? And do they also have a coverage linebacker? We're going to talk about all that and more. Some transactions the team made. This is the Music City Audible. Let's get to it. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Music City Audible podcast presented by Sinkers Beverages, the premier wine, spirits, and beer store in East Nashville in partnership with 440 Sports. I'm Justin Graver. With me, as always, Justin Melo. Justin, how's it going?
Doing well. We're officially two open practice. We're already hitting me with the damn thing. I always say doing well twice. Someone commented on it. I say it in real life too, by the way. My neighbors see me. How you doing? Doing well. Can't complain. I'll tell you who can't complain. The Tennessee Titans. They're 2 days, two training camp practices in the books, open media sessions, open fans were out there. They were getting autographs. Two, I don't want to call them uneventful sessions, but I'm not going to lie. I'm following other teams around the league, and fans are going crazy, posting these incredible clips, and Jamar Chase made a one-handed touchdown grab. Titans have been pretty low-key by comparison, but excited to talk about Thursday's practice because that's the one we haven't gotten to yet. Lots to recap regarding what happened on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, we're going to look at the week as a whole. We definitely will put a specific focus on Thursday because we didn't get a chance to talk about it. Titans, as far as we know, this is unclear. As far as we know, they're on the field on Friday as well, working on third downs. That's what Brian Callahan said in his Thursday press conference, was that he said, quote, tomorrow we're going to work on third downs. Saturday, we're going to work on red zone. So the Titans also practicing another open practice Saturday morning at Nissan Stadium, a really cool thing that they do kind of every year.
Yeah.
Hopefully some of our listeners or viewers can get out there and watch that practice. It's going to be a really fun atmosphere at Nissan Stadium, working red zone. So you hope to see a lot of touchdowns, depending on your viewpoint. Again, it's always hard to judge this. This is how I want to open this review of the week. And this is kind of cliche, and we've talked about this many years in a row, but it's always hard to be like, oh, right, Cody Barton got an interception. Do the Titans have a linebacker that can cover? But because on the other side, you're like, oh, our rookie quarterback, first overall pick, threw an interception. Should we feel bad about that? It's like everything you want to feel good about, there's also a reason to feel bad about on the other side of the ball because they're practicing against themselves. But luckily, they will have joint practices coming up in a few weeks. I think there's 3 joint practices, 1 with the Bucks and 2 with the Falcons, or maybe I have that backwards. That will actually get them a chance to see them against another team, so that'll be fun. But for now, we can evaluate them against themselves and talk about this in a way that is both positive and negative without being too, straddling the fence line with it. As we get into, let's start with, before we get into Thursday's practice, Justin, let's just cover this really quick so we don't have to talk about it anymore. Titans waive Colton Dowell. They signed Matt Landers. Good luck, Matt Landers. Welcome to the roster. You're not going to make the team. I mean, let's be real. Colton Dowell wasn't going to make the team. This is back-end wide receiver churning. This isn't anything really to obsess over or get that excited about. In my opinion, maybe he makes some plays in the preseason because he's a huge dude. But, I mean, you want to talk about Matt Landers for 30 seconds and then we can move on to other stuff?
Yeah, he played at Arkansas, was in the 2023 draft. I remember him well. I interviewed him throughout that process. 6'4", 200 pounds, 4'3", huge vertical, huge broad. He's Colton Dowell, but maybe slightly younger, right? They're taking a chance on a height, weight, speed guy, and they're doing that by replacing a height, weight, speed guy who they already know left. What he is, right? They're just replacing a guy with another version of him, a younger version. That's all.
Nice. Under the shot clock. Good job. So there you go. That's just more
collected under pressure. Remember when you gave yourself your own shot clock and you couldn't do it?
We don't have to rehash that. That was not my best moment. All right, that's more back end wide receiver competition. One other big not free agency roster move. I don't know how big it is really, but the Titans.
More notable than Matt Landers.
Definitely more notable than Matt Landers. This guy will make the team and he will play during the season. The question is, how much will he play? Is it going to be a rotational guy? Titans signed Jihad Ward, an outside linebacker who is an 11-year veteran or something like that. Played last year with Minnesota, played all 17 games and appeared in the playoff game as well. 31 pressures on the season, only 1 sack. The Titans, Lorenzo Carter retires. I feel like Jihad Ward is almost like replacement for Lorenzo Carter in terms of size, what they did last season, and what their role is going to be on this team.
Yeah, I agree. This does feel like the Lorenzo Carter replacement. What I found interesting about him is the Vikings were a really good defense last year. Yeah, the sack numbers, the pressures maybe don't fully jump. Pressures weren't bad at 31, but doesn't fully jump off the screen. When I went to go do a little digging, he played 41% of the Vikings' defensive snaps last year. So he was on the field with a fair amount of regularity for a really good defense, a Brian Flores coach defense. He's got good size, about 6'5", 265. As you said, Lorenzo Carter replacement. They made a transition to try to get bigger and stouter on the edge this year. I think Jihad Ward is going to play some of those early down run-stopping snaps. Maybe he plays 30-35% for them this season, especially with guys like Arden Keen not being, a terrific early down run guy. TBD on Femi Oladejo. I think Jihad Ward's going to do some of that dirty work. When you do a Twitter search of his name, you can find. Remember that? Did you see this? The game the Giants beat the Titans week 1 that year. What was it, 2022? I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 3 years ago. Where we thought the Titans were going to be good that year, and they weren't. But we thought they were going to be good. That was a huge upset in week 1. Derrick Henry did not have a great game. Jihad Ward had a ton of run stops on Derrick Henry in that game, setting the tone early. So, yeah, this one's a bit more notable. He is going to make the team, in my opinion. He'll be that fourth edge rusher, just like Lorenzo Carter was going to be. To make room for him, they cut. You didn't want to say it because you're hiding your Hook'em fandom. You're trying to hide this one. They cut Keandre Coburn, the nose tackle out of Texas. Is it horns? What is it? Horns down because of that one?
Get out. I'm kicking you out of the stream if you do that again.
I didn't know. I thought it was it's in for a negative thing. No, they cut Keandre Coburn. I was surprised by this, and I think you were too. Even Paul Kuharski, who kind of broke this, tweeted about it being surprised. I had Keandre Coburn making the 53, and then they cut him on the second day of camp. And what Paul Kuharski tweeted was, I get the impression they know what his ceiling is, and they got 4 UDFA defensive tackles. They want to give those reps to the UDFA, see if they have a higher ceiling. What Paul said, and this was opinion-based, and I agree, seems kind of short-sighted to cut this guy on your second day. That should be reserved for, your worst player on the whole 90-man roster. And I kind of agree with that. They cut Colton Dowell, who we think didn't have a chance at all. Keandre Coburn, I thought, had a chance, so I was a bit surprised by that move.
Yeah,
I think younger guys a chance.
I think our buddy Wes wisely put this pretty well, that maybe they just want to give him a chance to go stick on a roster somewhere versus waiting till towards the end of camp when teams are like, well, we're pretty set. This guy might be better, but we're not sure. Now it's let's bring him in and see if he's better. And I think Keandre Coburn will definitely land on an NFL roster
quickly.
I feel sad for myself as a Longhorn fan, but I feel sad for Tavondre Sweat, who played at Texas with Coburn, and they had the friendship thing going on last season, but whatever.
Mates, I think they were locker mates. I think,
yeah, but he'll get over it. It's pro football. This is the life of the NFL. It is a business at the end of the day. So we'll see what Jihad Ward brings to the team, and then we'll see if any of these defensive tackles can kind of show him something that makes an argument for making the roster. I think what this kind of tells me, and I don't want to spend too long on this, but what this kind of might tell me is that they maybe had been doing some looking at the numbers at the position groups and everything and thinking, we're only going to keep 4 defensive tackles. We're not going to keep 5. We're not going to keep Keandre Coburn because the 4 guys are Simmons, Sweat, Sebastian Joseph Day, and James Lynch. So maybe that's where the motivation to cut him was, along with letting him latch onto a roster somewhere. 4 is a little light in
my opinion. I had 5 on my 53. I think 4 is light. And they got a ton of other DTs right now. They got 4 UDFAs. They got Carlos Watkins, a 9-year veteran who's trying to make the team as well. They've still got enough numbers. They brought in Timothy Horn the other day. They've got enough numbers to get to 5, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. All right, let's get into training camp stuff that actually happened on the field versus transactions. And I want to talk about Cam Ward's overall performance through 2 days, but also specifically what happened on Thursday, because I think he said it was mostly uneventful. The one event was Cam Ward throwing another interception to Cody Barton. Cody Barton's 3rd interception since the team started practicing back in May, and Cam Ward's 4th interception since he started practicing as a Tennessee Titan. But I want to talk about his numbers overall, his completion percentage and all this stuff that doesn't really matter. JJ Watt had a pretty viral tweet about how training camp stats are stupid and no one should track them. And I agree with that mostly, that they're stupid and that they don't mean anything. But I also like that they are being tracked because while they don't mean anything about the season coming up, they're interesting. At least they give us something to talk about right now and some baseline expectation. So Cam Ward famously said Wednesday's practice for the offense was, quote, mid, and Thursday's practice was widely reported as the defense won the day. And despite those things, like the offense hasn't had like a great day at training camp yet. Granted, it's only been 2 practices.
I don't even know that they've had a good day, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. 2 practices though, and potentially a third one on Friday that we're still trying to get confirmation if that's actually happening. But Cam Ward's numbers in those 2 days, 21 of 31. He was 9 of 14 on Thursday, according to Jim Wyatt's observations. Like, if that's a bad day, 9 of 14 is a bad day. I understand he threw an interception. There's no touchdowns because they're not working down near the goal line. They're not driving the field. They're working on specific installations at certain parts of the offense and stuff. But and the quick game that they were working on, quick game's not going to lead to a ton of touchdowns, right? But that's pretty good for your bad day. Like, if that's your bad day, what's your good day? 14 of 14? Like, I guess, because Cam Ward did have, what was a day where he had threw 18 straight completions. So I guess that is what your good day looks like. But I'm encouraged if this is what a bad day looks like for Cam Ward.
I mean, his interception came on the first rep of 7-on-7. And there's a clip circulating social media, Twitter. You guys have probably seen it.
I'll put it right here. I'll put it right here on screen so everyone can see it. Go ahead.
Looks like he throws it right at Cody Barton, and it was his first drop back of 7-on-7. Cody Barton's third interception, as you said. But when does your video drop of this interception being thrown on purpose to Cody Barton? Is that coming later today, or?
I will say, I don't think this was thrown on purpose. Although I will also say, as we look at the video here, there's no receiver anywhere near. I mean, we can't. This is not a great angle.
It's a terrible interception.
It's a terrible interception. The throw is late. It floats over the middle of the field. It doesn't have really any zip on it. But if you stare down Cody Barton, you can tell this is not on purpose because Barton is sort of, running across the side of the field into the passing lane to pick this thing off. But it's not a good throw. Chigakonkwo is open in the flat to Cam Ward's right. He never looks his way. I guess that maybe it wasn't part of the progression, or Cam Ward didn't understand where his progression was supposed to go based on the coverage, or something got lost on this play, and they will look at it. These are good moments to have in training camp because Callahan, Bo Hardigree, Nick Holtz, Brandon Allen, they can sit in the film room with Cam Ward and be like, okay, what were you looking at here? Why? What led you to this throw? What led you away from Chigakonkwo wide open in the flat? And they will get to the bottom of what went wrong on this play. And I do think it's worth pointing out that he throws this interception on the first rep of practice, but goes on to have for the rest of the day, he was 9 of 13 after that interception. So that's that shows his ability to bounce back, which we saw so much at Miami as he would throw first half interceptions that got his team in a hole and then lead them on multi-score comebacks to go win these games. So I do think that's part of who Cam Ward is. Maybe it takes him a little bit to like warm up or get into it. And that's okay because you want to be your best in the fourth quarter, not necessarily in the first quarter. And so all that stuff is encouraging to me. But yes, at the end of the day, this is not a good pick, but it's a good learning moment.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's training camp, right? It's second training camp practice. We're not going to panic over it. We're not going to worry. It's a bad pick. It's a teachable moment. Like Cody Barton had a great quote after practice where he said, him and I will get together. We'll talk about it. I want to know what he saw. I'm going to tell him what I saw, what led to it. And by the way, he almost got him a second time. Like he had a PBU, I believe, later on that same drive. That was almost his second interception of the day. And or maybe it was another drive, but it was on Cam Ward.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to bring that up because I think that play also made it to Twitter, unless Cody Barton had another nice PBU.
I didn't see it that one, so
I saw it, and to me, calling this an almost interception is extremely generous to Cody Barton. Okay. This is like a classic pass breakup, so I mean, he was close to being there in time to pick it off, but he was really getting there as the ball was arriving and knocking it down.
He did
unless
say,
he had
though,
a third play. Yeah, go ahead.
He did say after practice, though, I haven't seen it, so I'll take your word for it, but he did say, I'll think more about the one I missed than the one that I made. So he felt like he had a chance. I mean, guys always feel like maybe, but it's not like he felt like he had a chance at it. So we'll quickly touch, like Cody Barton's been good, man. He's been as advertised.
Yeah, he's been everything the Titans. Before we move on to Cody Barton, let's finish up with Cam Ward here because there were some nice throws that were noted, him having as well a dart to Van Jefferson early, and Jim Wyatt said he found him again later. Van Jefferson's getting run with the ones. I think there's a real chance that he could potentially be a starter on opening day. He's been the opening camp starter so far, and everyone's rotating in, but I do think when we get to opening day, it's going to be Jefferson and Lockett alongside Calvin Ridley. Cam Ward on Wednesday, we missed this. I wanted to just note it, that he threw reportedly a very nice ball into a very tight window up high for Calvin Ridley to go up and get over a defender. And those are the kind of confidence building throws that you love to hear about because it builds on his connection with Ridley and it allows him to understand, okay, that's a window I can get. I've been watching Quarterback. Justin, have you watched Quarterback yet?
I just finished it, actually, yeah.
Okay, great. I'm almost done with it, but I haven't quite made it there. But I just watched the episode Joe Burrow talking about now or never throws. And so much of what he was talking about made me think of Cam Ward and just like, it made me hope that Cam Ward is watching Quarterback to like pick up some of the training techniques. Like Joe Burrow's working with a physical trainer on his own time, like in the morning or on his off day. I think it was probably on a Monday because the rigors of getting beat up during an NFL season are like a lot to handle. And I just hope that Cam Ward is watching this to like pick up tips and habits and routines from all these veterans and just to understand what life is like as an NFL quarterback. But anyway, the now or never throws where it's like, you got to get the ball out of your hand and you don't know, like sometimes these are risky throws that could end up in it as interceptions, but they can also end up as big plays. And those are the kind of throws that we are hoping Cam Ward is going to excel at and that he did excel at Miami. And I think this one to Ridley was an example. So I wanted to bring it up before we move on and talk about Cody Barton.
Yeah, Barton's been terrific, man. I want to quickly mention friend of the show, James Foster at No Flags Film, who's a certified psychopath. You know, when the Titans signed Cody Barton, I'm pretty confident he went through every single rep Cody Barton played last year, probably more than 1 year. And he came back to us and said, this guy was good last year, like both as a run defender and in coverage. Like James's opinion was a bit different than everyone else's. He's like, you know, the typical, all good in run coverage, but, you know, not great in the passing game. James liked him in the passing game. Said there were some athletic limitations in man coverage, but thought he was pretty good, all things considered. I mean, again, tracking stats and all that, but 3 picks for Cody Barton this summer. I think it does say a little something. Probably not all a fluke or a coincidence. Far and away the Titans' best linebacker. You're seeing more and more every day why Mike Borgonzi was so excited to go and get this guy.
And speaking of the linebackers, James Williams, again, still getting first-team reps, but Cedric Gray has also been out there. And according to Taylor Zarzauer, am I saying that right? The Titans' new play-by-play guy, who is a great Twitter follow. If you're not following him on Twitter, he's been like responding to fans' questions about what he saw at training camp and like posting great content. Yes, he is. So go follow Taylor Zarzauer. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. We'll figure it out one day. But he said that Cedric Gray has looked really good too, and that he's excited to see how this competition shakes out. And then Brian Callahan on Thursday pretty much said what you and I have been saying, which we took from what he said longer ago, but he said it again, which is that the linebacker competition is not going to be decided until the pads come on. And I think we know that, but it's worth reminding people who are getting excited about James Williams. Like, it doesn't mean James Williams won't win the job. It just means that what we're seeing right now doesn't hold nearly as much weight as what we're going to see in a couple weeks when the pads do come on. So finding Cody Barton's running mate is going to be, you know, priority one of this defense during training camp. But knowing that you have a guy as solid as he is, who's not only a good player on the field, but a great leader and a vocal leader who brings the energy. This was a great signing for the Titans. And I think it went under the radar in the national media landscape, but I've compared this roster turnover to what the Commanders did so many times. The Commanders went out and signed Frankie Louvu last year, and he was like an anchor and a captain in the middle of their defense. And the Titans need Cody Barton to be that for them as they look to have the same kind of turnaround that Washington pulled off last year.
It's also interesting that Barton, I want to say before this offseason, signed consecutive 1-year deals, right? Yeah. And then now the Titans go and give him 3 years. And we know, you can always shave a year off, right? Probably get out of it after 2 years if you want to. But it was a vote of confidence that they gave him a 3-year contract, no doubt about that. The only thing I'll add on James Williams is, I don't know if you saw this, but after Cam Ward threw the interception to Cody Barton, Williams hit Cam with the Zombieland celebration. I mean, where does your loyalty lie? He went to Miami. He's a Miami alum. He doesn't care about that. He's sticking with his position group. He tried to embarrass Cam Ward, hitting him with the celly when his teammate picked him off.
I think that's something Titans fans, I'm really glad you brought this up, Justin. This has nothing to do with training camp or anything really. It's just Titans fan experience, what to expect this season. By the way, James Williams did go to Miami, but obviously they didn't play together because Ward was only there 1 year and Williams was in the NFL last year. Teams are going to do this to the Titans. I think probably every time he throws an interception, maybe even when he gets sacked. If he throws a pick six, it's 100% coming out. Teams are going to hit him with the Zombieland a lot to like smack talk and mock him, and he's going to hit them with it plenty of times himself. But that'll be a fun little thing just to watch this year as other teams come out and do that celebration at him when they make a play on defense.
Yeah, fully agreed. I'm going to move us on to the defensive line. Two guys that I'm going to hit rapid fire before we spend more time. But as you said, the defense won the day. That was the main takeaway from Thursday's practice. Jim Wyatt, his observations, mentioned Arden Key and Draymond Jones as kind of blowing up plays. Draymond Jones got a bit more love in that observation. I want to quickly mention, I just thought this on the spot, like when Brian Callahan was speaking at the podium before Thursday's practice, I thought what he said about Jones was pretty interesting. He said, to the tune of, I played against him when he was in Denver. He's a really good player. I know it probably didn't go according to plan in Seattle, but we're excited to have him, and he's been making plays for us here. The Titans continue to hype up Draymond Jones. I don't know if you remember at mandatory camp, Denard Wilson lit up like a Christmas tree when they asked him about Draymond Jones and how excited he was to have him. Brian Callahan doing more of the same. Good to hear that him and Arden Key, they're veterans at that spot, are already making plays. But moving on to Femi Oladejo, who, as the D-line won the day, I would say Femi Oladejo was a big-time winner. There were a couple of pressures. There was one that I think forced Cam Ward to roll out and overthrow or threw the ball away, I think it was. And some said it would have been a would-be sack, if contact was allowed and Femi was allowed to close in on his quarterback. 2 practices in a row, first-team reps for Femi Oladejo. He's been in that lineup with Draymond Jones, if you're wondering who the partner has been, and he's been everywhere, been making plays, kind of exploding out of his stance. You see the size, you see the athleticism. Really, I mean, if I had to pick a winner out of everything I've read out of the first 2 days of Titans training camp, rookies or veterans, I might go with Femi Oladejo.
I agree with you, and I think I've said this so many times, but this is huge for what the Titans defense can be this year because they need somebody to step up and be a reliable pass rusher who can pressure the quarterback consistently, and if Femi Oladejo can be that for them, one, it eliminates a major offseason need. I think there's still a need, but right now you almost feel like you need 2 of those guys. And if you find one in Femi Oladejo, that's great. And if Draymond Jones can step up and give you a lot of good snaps, that's good too.
On a 1-year deal, noted. But
yes, exactly. So you still need 2, assuming
and
that Femi...
And on an expiring deal too.
Right. So I'm really excited about what Femi Oladejo has brought so far to this roster, and that and then number 2, like you need that guy this year. It doesn't just eliminate a future need. You need that guy this year. So I'm very happy to see the reports about how well Femi is getting pressure and like looking like a natural edge rusher. However, Justin, this goes back to what I talked about at the top of the show. This Titans offensive line is supposed to be better and rebuilt and good, and this Titans pass rush is supposed to be like the weakest part of the roster. Is it an overreaction? This isn't for me. This is for any listeners or viewers who may be wondering the same thing. Is it an overreaction, only 2 days of camp, no pads, to say, is this offensive line not going to be as good as we hope?
No. Number 1, no pads. Number 2, it's not like we've been hearing the D-line's blowing them up. Like that hasn't been the word coming out of practice. So, no, I'm not there yet. If you want to pump a little sunshine, I'll say, talking about Femi and Draymond Jones, you just hope that they're a bit better this year than the general expectation. And if that's the case, that comes to fruition, maybe this edge room's not quite as bad as we fear it is. But TBD, I'll also add, I'm not putting too much stock into Arden Key being the clear number 3 right now because number 1, he's the guy that they know the best because he's the only one that was here last year and the year before, even though this staff wasn't here. But point being, they know Arden Key best. I wouldn't put a lot of stock into him being number 3. Who they got to find out about is Draymond Jones and Femi Oladejo. They're 2 new players, especially Femi, of course, being a rookie, a raw one at that. So I still think Arden Key's going to get a lot of run in this room. But it's good that they're spending a lot of time with Draymond Jones and Femi because they've really got to find out what those guys are going to give them this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely true. Offensive line, I saw somebody ask about this somewhere on Twitter. I can't remember where this question popped up, but it's hard to judge anything from the offensive line right now because there's no pads on, and the fact that we haven't heard anything is generally a good thing. So I'm just going to leave that there and talk about 2 guys, Justin, now, who didn't participate in these spring practices that are finally taking the field with the Titans in Kalel Mullings, the 6th-round running back, and Kevin Winston Jr., the 3rd-round safety safety that was possibly the biggest steal of any player in this draft. Both guys now fully healthy, fully participating on the field. Kalel Mullings has looked pretty good. I've seen some Twitter clips of him just like, routes on air, warm-up type stuff. He looks like a natural route running back with natural hands. It doesn't look awkward for him to catch the ball. So there may be a little more upside in this Kalel Mullings thing. Like we've talked about the future of the running back room and what's Tajay Spears' role look like next year and in the final year of his contract and then beyond that. And is Kalel Mullings a threat to become like an RB2? Tony Pollard's also no spring chicken. He's getting up there in age. How much longer is his career? Kalel Mullings could be more than just a special teamer. I don't know if I'm going to put any expectations on him to produce anything on offense as a rookie, but I like what we've seen and what we've heard about Mullings so far. If you want to quickly comment on Mullings, because the real interesting one here is Kevin Winston Jr. That's what I'm hyped for. But anyway, Mullings.
Yeah, I'll just say our buddy Zach Lyons has been at a couple practices and said that Kalel Mullings looks big, fast, explosive. All good signs for a guy who's coming in and trying to carve out, a couple carries for himself per game.
And then Kevin Winston Jr. had what was probably the second best play of practice, where They weren't sure whether to rule it an interception or a strip and fumble recovery, but either way, it was a takeaway on Josh Wiley. Comes in as Josh Wiley's bringing in a pass and gets his hands on the ball and rips it out of Wiley's arms to take the ball away. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like it was probably a second team rep if Josh Wiley's on the field, and I know it wasn't Cam Ward throwing the ball. So obviously they're not working in Winston. I mean, nobody expected him to be working with the ones. I just wanted to point out that
is in,
right. Like it's not that this is bad or good. It's just what it is, and I wanted to acknowledge it. But Kevin Winston Jr., like a guy that I think Titans fans should be very excited about, almost reminds me of when the team drafted Kevin Byard, and there was this like overwhelming sense that the Titans just got a steal in the third round with this safety. I do think they're different like style of safety, so I don't want to confuse it that way. But just the idea that like this guy's a really good player. Why was he available to the Titans in the third round? And obviously Kevin Byard didn't even get invited to the combine, so that was sort of a different level of snub and sleeper and went to Middle Tennessee State like come on, versus Kevin Winston Jr., who went to a big-time program and played big-time snaps for them before getting injured. Again, not total parallels, but just the idea that there's this safety they were drafting in the third round that everyone just kind of says is like, this guy's already a really good player. Why is he there? And we're seeing it play out. He's making plays. These are the kind of plays that the Titans did not have nearly enough of last year, just going out and taking the ball away on a play where the offense didn't really do anything wrong, so to speak, other than Josh Wiley not holding onto the ball. Like, that's what we were hoping when the Titans hired Denard Wilson coming from the Ravens, who led the team and led the league in forced turnovers generated, and like this mindset of like always take the ball away, generate turnovers, make plays. Like that's how you win football games. Kevin Winston Jr., welcome to the team.
Yeah, he's been really impressive by all accounts. I've had some sources tell me he looks really good out there. And Jim Wyatt, the Thursday Observations, he pointed out this play. He said he was ruling it as an interception based on his vantage point, and that he's been blown away by Kevin Winston through 2 days. Certainly the way he's moving, the way he looks the part, right? And a full-time NFLer. And sure to see how the Titans work him in this year. Again, Xavier Woods is in that number 2 safety spot next to Amani Hooker. He had a PBU. Xavier Woods did, I believe, on Cam Ward at Thursday's practice as well. He's not going to give up that spot, obviously, with any relative ease. We talk about that second linebacker spot a lot, right? And I wonder, you take one off the field and you get both Kevin Winston and Xavier Woods, who are both, of course, a little undersized to play a linebacker role, but they're great tacklers and they're both good playing around the line of scrimmage. So they do give you something in the downhill game. Very encouraging stuff coming out of camp on Kevin Winston Jr.
Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on, Justin, from this camp? Because I think we've covered everything notable. Like, for me, I just want to throw out some names that we haven't talked much about that I'm sure people are curious about, like Gunnar Helm. Has he been making plays or not? David Martin Robinson is getting run with the ones, because it was reported that the pass that was intercepted, or no, the pass that was almost intercepted, the second Cody Barton play, was targeted to David Martin Robinson. So he's out there. Like, we are, somewhat projecting. We weren't projecting Josh Wiley to not make the team based on our own, analysis of the players, but based on what we've been hearing, we're saying David Martin Robinson might be tight end 3 and make this roster. And so he's getting run with the ones. Like, I don't know if there's any random players you want to just like pick out and say a sentence or two about.
Yeah. We might have been wrong about that one initially. Shameless plug. You want to ding me? I don't know. I'm sitting down with David Martin Robinson next week for an exclusive one-on-one. Really excited about that. That'll be coming to Titan-sized. I've heard by all accounts he's one of the players who has shown the most growth from last year to this year. So I'm excited to talk to him about that. Tyler Lockett, we talk about tracking stats. I'm not a big fan, but Jim Wyatt had him with a team-high 3 catches at Thursday's practice. I only mention it because we didn't see Tyler Lockett at all at minicamp OTAs on the field. Not surprised. I think I said this then. Literally, if you gave me a list on football players who could be ready to play a game tomorrow without practicing at all, Tyler Lockett would be very high on that list. So, but good to see that he's working in and made a couple grabs and is building that chemistry with Cam Ward. Going to be very important. That's all I really had on anyone else that we didn't talk about.
I got 2 more. L'Jarius Sneed's been like running on a side field or something, so at least his leg is not immobilized and he's able to move like an athlete, and we'll see how quickly he's back on the field. And the last one is a player the Titans fans have been very excited about, maybe prematurely. Xavier Restrepo, according to our little sparrows out there at practice, is not running very high in the pecking order. Not really running with the 1s much, not really running with the 2s much, maybe not even really running with the 3s very much.
You don't have anything behind the 3s, so he's got to be running with the 3s.
The 4s. No, I know. It's just, I just want to like temper maybe expectations for Xavier Restrepo.
It's been a slow start.
It's been a slow, he's not getting looks with the high group of players right now, and that can change. And if he goes out and has a monster preseason game or something, and they're like, well, wait a sec, maybe we should give him more opportunity. But just so Titans fans are aware, like Xavier Restrepo, everyone's projecting him to make the roster, including us. There might be a journey ahead for him to get to that point, because I think if they had to cut it to 53 today, they probably would not keep Restrepo. They might even keep like a Treylon Burks ahead of him. Do you want to mention Treylon Burks at all? Another jumping catch the Titans social media tweeted out, and some people are like, oh, well, Mike Brown was coming to hit him, so he's jumping to brace himself. How is jumping bracing yourself? You have no control of your body when you're in the air. If you are expecting a big hit, you catch and turn and tuck. You don't jump in the air. Give me a break. This is a bad habit that he's had since he came into the league, and I'm out on Treylon Burks. And the Sleeper Titans account, which is one of the worst new aggregator accounts out there, is tweeting like, Treylon Burks continues to shine at Titans camp. It's like, continues to shine. What are you talking about? What are people talking about? I can't stand the aggregator thing. But anyway, we didn't. Go ahead.
I'm still out on Treylon Burks, and it's funny that clip even made it out there, because he had absolutely no business jumping for that ball. I got no idea why he jumped for it. Brian Callahan said some really nice things. I mean, how much he meant it, we don't know, but it's like, I like the way he works, I like his attitude. Now he's got to produce. I mean, they're going to give him a chance. He's in camp. They might as well give him a look, right? But it's on him to make the most of his opportunities. No, I don't have any faith in his ability to actually do that.
PSA to all of our Titans fans listening or watching the show: just because a coach or a player goes to the podium, is asked a specific question about a player, just because they give a glowing response about that player's abilities or what they've seen from them or whatever, doesn't mean that any of it is true. If you're a coach or a player and you get asked specifically,
30-second timer on this one. So you're
okay. Starts now.
No, you're 10 seconds.
Starts now. No, I wasn't ready for that. It starts. I'm not good at clock management, Justin. I'm calling timeout. Sure. It starts right now.
Nathaniel Hackett over here.
It starts right now. Okay. Just because a player says something, when they are asked a direct question about a player on their team, they are going to give a positive, glowing answer. They're never going to sit there and be like, well, actually, we're out on him. He's just out here because he's still under contract. Like, that's not the way that this stuff works at all. They are going to be glowing. They're going to be praising. It's called coach speak. It doesn't mean anything. So stop taking it so seriously and literally. Done.
Thank you. Didn't need to be said, but I'm glad you got that off your chest.
Thank you. I'm just frustrated by it.
I think that'll do it.
I agree. Let's call it an episode, Justin. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Remember, the best way to help our channel grow is to watch these videos all the way through. Click on every video and watch it all the way through. If you don't have time to watch it all the way through, or you're not that interested, just like let it play in the background with no sound on. Like, that's the best way to help our channel grow, along with liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment below. What have you seen that you're impressed by or that you're concerned with through the first week of training camp for the Titans? Let us know, and Justin and I will hop in those comments and respond to you. I love having a good dialogue with our audience. It really stimulates the brain. Takes me back to my MCM commenter days when I would just sit on my laptop late at night, smoke weed, and comment to people on musiccitymiracles.com. Anyway, Justin, I wanted to tell everyone I'm working on a new video, and I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I'm hoping to have it out soon, on the connection and the relationship and the bromance that has been forming between Calvin Ridley and Cam Ward. I think it's super important for the success of the offense that these two guys are connected like they are, and the story of their connection, I'm going to tell it in a new video coming out soon. So hope everyone gets excited for that. Thanks to Sinkers Beverages for sponsoring this channel. Remember to check out Sinkers Beverages 40th birthday jamboree. The link is in the podcast description. Final word to you.
You guys stay safe out there and tighten up.
A Broadway sports media production.